Is there any other type of questions you guys want me to do?
Number 11, 3.4.
Yeah. I'm just writing it up here so I remember. And 23 on 3. Okay. All right, so we'll wait another 2 minutes. So I'm also going to do number 3.4, number 11, and 3.3, number 23. So if you guys want to get started on that, I'll go over all of these in, let's go to 3 or 4 minutes. Well, let's see here. Be able to find the limit graphically. Go over finding the limit algebraically, like the different types of problems that you have for homework. Factoring, multiplying top and bottom by something, intermediate value theorem, the problem that I'm just doing now, equation of tangent line, normal line, just finding derivatives, chain rule, product rule, quotient rule. You guys should be all right. Graphically, find that graphing a piecewise function is something continuous or not continuous. Basically, the stuff I wrote down. All right, no more hints. If I give any more hints, I might get fired. Oh, main thing I do want to talk about the exam is picky about the work that you show and doing the problems the same way that I'm doing it. Okay, so I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. And most of you are good, but so for example, what I mean by that, I'll get to that question in a second. I'm just suppose you got a question like y equals x to the third times the sine of x. Okay, now obviously you got to use the product rule here. So if you go first times the derivative of the second plus second times the derivative of the first. Now, some people do it the other way. They'll put this second, this one first. That's perfectly fine. I don't care. Some people like to put this part here and that part there. That's not what I mean by doing it exactly the same way as I do. That's still the same way. It's just, it's not really considered different. Here's like where it gets a little bit questionable. And how someone write it like this. First times the derivative of the sine of x plus the sine of x times the derivative of the x to the third. Then, and then, now this one is not much more work to do. When you start using notation like that I never use in class, and you're just, I mean, like there's really no reason for you to write this. Just take the derivative of sine of x already. You got to be able to take the derivative of sine of x right away and just say cosine of x. When you do that, it does not make you look good in my eyes. Let's just leave it at that. Now, it could have been your high school teacher taught it to you this way, and that's the way you're doing it. Well, something didn't work out. You're taking this class again, so maybe you should try doing it my way anyway. All right. Anyway, again, it's an online test, so I'm going to be picky. I couldn't care less if you were taking the test in person. I said write it any way you want. That's fine. But I'm picky because it's an in-person test. And I'll write that out in the directions on the Canvas when you take it down. I know some of you don't read the directions on Canvas. You just are ready to print out the test and work on it. So I'm just telling you now. And also, again, it's your responsibility to check your own submission after you submit it, that it's the exact file that you meant to submit and everything is readable. You know, if something is not there, you can't come back 3 days later. By the way, here, I forgot to submit my work. Here you go. I can't really accept it then.
When are you uploading the test to where we can print it? Like when we get on Zoom, or how does that
Well,
work?
yeah, it'll start right at the beginning of class at 3:15. Now you want to get on Zoom at the same time. So I'll be on a few minutes before 3:15 so you could talk to me. But don't worry, time won't be an issue. I realize it takes time to print it out, download the PDF, print it out. I already take all that time into account. And maybe your printer is in the other room. You got to go leave the room to go pick up your printer. Just go ahead and do that. You don't have to ask. You have to realize there's a bunch of people taking the exam. You don't need to say like out loud, "Professor, is it okay if I leave the room to go pick up my printer?" Just go. What am I going to say? No, you can't go pick up the test. Well, maybe some teachers would. Okay, but just take it easy. I'll let you know if I'm watching you. You're on my blacklist, and I need to look at you every move. Right? You're not right now. None of you are on my blacklist. It didn't sound good. Okay. Hey, I'm just being honest with you, okay? What do you want me to do? Sugarcoat it? Well, Damaris is like kind of in the gray area, but everyone else is good. All right, let's do this here. So f of x plus h equals x plus h squared plus 9 times x plus h. So the derivative is equal to limit as h goes to 0 of the difference quotient, that's f of x plus h, minus f of x all over h. Now we all know the answer is going to be 2x plus 9, right? Because we know how to do the derivative quickly. It's 2x plus 9. The question is, I don't want to get lost in the work here and then boom, 2x plus 9 appears. Now, that doesn't mean you cheated. You knew what the answer is because hopefully you do, but you're still not going to get credit for it because it has to make sense. So you expand that. Distribute the minus sign. So the x squareds cancel out. The 9x doesn't cancels out. So out of the 3 terms that are left, you can factor out an h. 2x plus h plus 9 over h. H's cancel out, so we got the limit as h goes to 0 of 2x plus h plus 9. Now plug in 0 for h, you get 2x plus 9. All right, let's do 3.4, number 11. Find the derivative of f of theta is equal to cosine. Oh, be careful, I may have miswrote it. It's cosine of theta squared. Where I wrote it up here, I wrote the squared on the outside, which actually might make it different depending on how you read it. Okay. Oops. All right, so this is cosine theta squared. So cosine of the whole thing. So it's cosine of this whole thing is your u. So the main function is the cosine function. So f prime of theta is, well, what's the derivative of cosine? That's the main function. It's negative sine of u. Now come back and say times, that's just the chain rule part now. What the derivative of u? What's the derivative of theta squared?
Just theta?
2 theta, right? Like the derivative of x squared is 2x.
Theta, sorry.
Yeah, it's theta is playing the role of x. Just don't let that throw you off. Right? Derivative of x squared is 2x, so theta squared is 2 theta. Does that make sense? All right, let's do number 23 from 3.3. All right, y equals cosine of x minus the sine of x. And the question is, find the equation of the tangent line to the curve at the given point. Ooh, very good question. All right, so let's take the derivative because we want to get what the slope of the tangent line is first. So derivative of cosine is negative sine. The derivative of negative sine is negative cosine. Now I'm going to plug in pi, which is the x value, in for x. So let's see here. Sine of pi, that will be 0. Cosine of pi is negative 1. So minus the minus is plus 1. So that is the slope of the tangent line. So we got y equals 1x plus b. That's the m. Now I need to figure out what b is. Well, I know it goes through the point pi comma negative 1, so we'll plug that in. So negative 1 equals pi plus b minus pi to each side. B equals negative 1 minus pi. So the final answer is y equals 1x, or just x, plus b, which is minus 1 minus pi. This was 3.3, number 23. All right, so just with the advice that I've been giving you, study those topics that I've been telling you, focus on what I've been told you to focus on, and you should be good. All right, so make sure you just get on Thursday. Again, don't stress. If your internet cuts out, worst case scenario, you have your phone, and you can always take a picture and email me the picture as a last resort. But again, just follow the directions. Don't leave Zoom until everything is checked, and learn how to use your phone to scan, and you should be fine. All right. So I'll see you guys Thursday.